The crack sounds like a rifle shot directly under your boot, not under the ice. Under your boot, a single percussive snap that travels up through your heel and into your spine before your brain has assigned it a category. Your coffee thermos is still in your hand. The temperature on the gauge outside the module read -26 when you checked it 40 minutes ago. You're standing at the edge of a research platform 200 kilometers north of Svalbard, and the sound that just moved through the floor of the world was not the ice settling. It was the ice deciding. You've heard that sound in core samples, in lab environments, in the acoustic data from instruments you've spent 3 years calibrating. You have never heard it through the soles of your boots at 4 in the morning. And your body knew what it was before your training caught up, because you are already moving toward the module door before you have consciously chosen to move. There are 6 of you on this platform. 2 are asleep in the secondary module, 40 meters east across the connector bridge. 3 more are in the main hab. You are outside, alone, and you just felt the Arctic Ocean make a decision about the next 11 hours of your life. What is about to happen will not look like a disaster for approximately the next 4 minutes. That is the window. 4 minutes where it still looks like an emergency that ends in paperwork, not in body counts. And the distance between those 2 outcomes is going to compress faster than you are ready for. There are things about sea ice that your body understands and things that your training understands. And for the next several hours, those 2 systems are going to be in direct conflict. Your body is going to tell you the ice is stable because it is flat and white and enormous and has held your weight every day for 6 weeks. Your training is going to tell you something else entirely. You need to decide right now which one you believe. Here's what you know. First, your Arctic sea ice, which is what you are standing on, which is what the platform was rated for, has a tensile strength of roughly 0.7 to 1.2 megapascals under optimal conditions. But this is late season. The melt surface has refrozen 3 times. The thermal gradient between the surface and the water table beneath you has been working on this flow for weeks, and what that gradient does to ice crystals at the grain boundary is not visible from above, not on any of your instruments. Only in retrospect, in the fracture pattern of the break, which you can now see forming in a line running southeast to northwest directly through the connector bridge between main hab and secondary module. The ocean under you is -2 degrees Celsius, not cold enough to kill immediately, cold enough to kill in approximately 6 to 15 minutes, depending on clothing, body mass, and whether the person in the water is moving or still. Moving generates heat but accelerates heat loss. Stillness preserves core temperature slightly longer but produces faster muscular incapacitation. You know this the way you know your own name. You have read the data from every documented cold water immersion incident in Arctic research history, and the number of those incidents that ended in full recovery is not a number that will help you right now. The crack is widening, not the crack itself. You can see it in the behavior of the snow on either side of it, the way the surface granules are shifting, the barely perceptible tilt in the platform structure that means the ice beneath the eastern support columns has already lost integrity. The connector bridge is steel and aluminum, no flex rating for differential ice movement. When the 2 sections of this flow separate completely, the bridge will either pull free of its moorings on the secondary side or it won't. And if it doesn't, it will take part of the secondary module's exterior wall with it. Inside that module, right now, Petra is asleep in the upper bunk, and Dimitri is probably awake because Dimitri is always awake, reading something on a tablet with the screen brightness turned all the way down so as not to disturb her. You have known Petra for 9 months. She explains everything with her hands, even over the radio. 3 weeks ago, you watched her spend 40 minutes trying to photograph a snow bunting that kept landing 3 meters from the observation deck. She wanted her daughter to see what lived out here. She never got the shot. The bird kept moving. Dimitri once corrected a math error in your published paper at a conference dinner, quietly, without making it a thing, then immediately changed the subject. You've thought about that more than once since. The flow shifts. Not catastrophically, not yet, but the platform shutters in a way platforms are not designed to shutter, and 3 seconds later you hear the first sounds from inside the main hab. Voices, footsteps. Then Yusuf's voice coming through the exterior door with his coat half zipped. Did you? Yes, you say. Get everyone's survival suits now. He looks at the crack. He looks at you. He is a geochemist. He knows ice the way he knows soil samples. From below and in cross section, not like this, not from inside it while it is making its decision. How bad? He says. You don't know if Petra and Dmitri can reach the main hab before the bridge fails. You don't know the rate of propagation. You know the flow is going to separate. You know it's going to happen in the next minutes, not hours. You know the outside temperature is minus 26, which means immersion is a secondary threat. Hypothermia in open air with wet clothing before the rescue ship arrives is the one that does the math on you slowly. Get the suits, you say. What happens in the next 4 minutes is something you will spend a long time trying to organize into a sequence that makes sense. Yusuf goes back inside. You cross the platform toward the edge nearest the connector bridge. The bridge is still intact, visually, structurally, but you can see it moving now. A slow oscillation that is not wind. That is the differential drift of two masses of ice that are no longer one object. They are separating at roughly half a meter per minute. In 11 minutes, the gap will be too wide to cross on foot. You get on the radio, coordinates, status, head count. The duty officer on the other end is calm in the way trained people are calm when the situation hasn't reached them physically. She tells you the nearest vessel is the RSS Nansen, 11 hours out, rerouting. No helicopters within operational range in this weather window. She tells you to activate your emergency beacon and maintain the channel. Your beacon has been active for 30 seconds already. 11 hours, you do the arithmetic, the same arithmetic you've run on every cold water survival dataset you've processed. And it produces an answer you set aside and don't share on the radio. You go back inside the main hab. Yusuf has a survival suit locker open. 4 suits. 4 people on this side of the fracture. You, Yusuf, Chen, Makina, who is standing with her hair still flat from sleep, holding a suit against her chest like it weighs more than it does. Chen is already suited. Yusuf is helping Makina. On the other side, Petra, Dmitri, the bridge with 8 minutes left. You go to the window and look east. The secondary module lights are on. Someone moving inside. A silhouette. The bridge is still there. The gap at the eastern end is roughly 3 meters now. You could cross it with a running start and a rope anchor. Maybe. At minus 26, if you go into the gap, the suit keeps you alive long enough to be pulled out. If someone is on the rope, without a suit, 6 to 15 minutes. 4 suits on this side. 4 people here who need them. 2 people on the other side. You don't move immediately. That will seem strange to you later, that there was a moment, however brief, where you stood at the window and simply looked. Petra's silhouette in the module light. The gap between you and her. The arithmetic. Here's the thing about the arithmetic. You ran it for both of them without choosing to. That is what your training does. Petra is 43. Non-smoker, athletic baseline from field work. Cold water immersion in base layers for 11 hours. Effectively 0. But the first 2 hours before the hypothermic cascade becomes irreversible, give her a window if she can be kept moving, kept dry above the waterline, if the bridge holds enough structure to provide shelter. Dmitri is 51. Mentioned a cardiac history once, peripherally, in a way that made clear he didn't want it to become a data point. In the water, in sustained cold exposure, that history changes every number. 1 suit. You can carry 1 suit across the bridge. You take Makina's. She doesn't argue. She doesn't understand yet why you're taking it, and by the time she does, you are already moving. The gap is 4 meters when you reach the bridge. You clip the safety line to the rail and move fast and flat-footed, not running, because running on that surface puts you in the water. And you don't look down at the gap below the grating because it won't help. The line is clipped. The bridge is still attached on both sides. You cross in 11 seconds. Dmitri opens the secondary module door before you knock. Base layers, tablet in his hand. He looks at the survival suit, then at your face, and doesn't ask the question out loud. There's one suit, you say. The gap is 4 meters and widening. Maybe 6 minutes before this bridge comes apart. You stop there, you hold the suit out between you, exactly in the center of the space between you, and you wait. Petra appears in the doorway behind him. He looks at her. She looks at the suit. The bridge makes a sound you have never heard before. A low harmonic groan that means the western anchor is starting to fail. And none of you move for a moment that is much shorter than it feels. Dimitri takes the suit from your hands. He passes it to Petra. He says her name once. Just her name. She doesn't argue. She knows the arithmetic. She begins putting the suit on. You get back across the bridge in 9 seconds. Dimitri follows 8 seconds after that. You don't remember deciding not to go back a third time. The bridge fails on the eastern anchor 40 seconds after Dimitri steps off it. The gap opens to 12 meters, then 20, and the secondary module goes dark as the power coupling severs. And the three of you stand on the western platform looking at the gap and the dark shape of the eastern floe moving away in the black water. Petra is in the suit. 3 hours in immersion, maybe 4. The rescue ship is 11 hours out and rerouting, and the radio is still open, and Yusuf is on it, and the numbers are the numbers. But she is in the suit. The temperature at 6:14 a.m. by the station gauge is minus 28. The sky to the east is going from black to dark blue. The ice is moving. Dimitri is standing next to you at the platform edge, looking at the eastern floe, not saying anything. He left his tablet in the module. You watched him set it down on the bunk before he walked out. The eastern floe is maybe 30 meters now. Petra's beacon light, the one on the suit, blinks orange in the dark. You ran the arithmetic without choosing to. You gave the suit to the person the numbers said had the better chance. Dimitri handed it to her first, which means he ran the same numbers and reached the same answer. And you have no way of knowing whether that makes it right or only makes it the decision two people arrived at independently. The beacon blinks, the floe moves. 11 hours is a long time to know what you know and watch an orange light blink and stand next to the person whose arithmetic you agreed with. You don't know, standing there, whether what you did was save someone or choose someone. You're not sure those are different things. The light blinks. You watch it.